Use this strategy if you don't want to meet any friends at the table.
Welcome to my new viewers. To my subscribers, welcome back. My name is Mike. This is my channel where I look at, review, and try different craps strategies. Thanks for joining.
Hey everyone, it's Mike. Welcome back to the channel. So a while back I started showing some basic beginner type strategies, and I showed the pass line and the come line, which is probably the one basic strategy that everyone understands. You basically put money on the pass line and roll the dice, establish a number, establish a point. If that point hits again before the 7, you win. So pass line wins on a 7 or 11 when the point is being established, and it loses on a 2, 3, or a 12. So what I didn't do is I didn't do a video on the opposite, the don't pass. So I want to go down and show that strategy right here. So this is the don't pass. So to say that the don't pass is the exact opposite of the pass is pretty accurate, but there are some things you need to know. The payouts and when you would play them and why it would make sense to do a don't pass. If you just look at house edge and look at the numbers, the pass line and the don't pass line are pretty much the same when it comes to house edge. It doesn't really matter which one you play. But for whatever reason, a majority of players will play the pass line and will avoid the don't pass and the don't come, mainly because there's that stigma that you're now betting against the person throwing the dice, or you're betting against the other players around the table, because most of those other players will be playing the pass line. So you're betting against them. So while you're celebrating a win, they're taking a loss, and they'll get a little upset if you celebrate a little too loudly. But anyway, other than that, it's really the same. But let's go over it real quick just to make sure that everyone is on the same page here. So the don't pass and the pass, these are bets that you make before the point is established, while the puck is off. Once the point is established, you place come bets and don't come bets. Those are the same as pass and don't pass. The only difference is one is bet before the point is established, one is bet after the point is established. Now, these are self-serve bets. You put the chips in the pass line or the don't pass line. So in this illustration, I have $10 in the don't pass. Now the puck is off, because that's the only time you can play a don't pass. If you roll a 7 or an 11, you lose. If you roll a 2 or a 3, you win. And you see this here where it says bar the 12, that's like a push. You don't win, you don't lose. Okay? Once the point is established, then you win this bet if a 7 rolls before the point. So if you think about this, before the point, you've got $10 on the don't pass. The most frequently rolled number over time is the 7. You would lose on the 7. Okay? So the casino or the house has the advantage before the point is established. Once the point is established, you win if a 7 is rolled before that point. Since the 7 is the most frequently rolled number over time, you now have the advantage. So a lot of players will say, once you get past the point, once you get a point established, you should never take down a don't pass bet, because it's your advantage. Some people will remove the don't pass bet if a 6 or an 8 comes, because they think a 6 or an 8 is going to roll. But technically the 7 still is a favorite or has more frequent roll will roll more frequently than the 6 or the 8. Okay? Now, the don't come bet is made after the point. So let's roll and get a point, just for illustrations. Okay, there's a 3. So the don't pass wins on 2 and 3. It gets pushed on the 12, so we win. Let's see if we can't get a point established here. Okay, there's a 2. That's a winner. There's a loser, so let's replace that bet. I just want to get a point. I guess this is the way we're going to play today. Okay, we have a point. The puck moves to the 4. Now, we can now put a don't come bet. Let's put $10 into don't come. Now, let's look at this. This point is for this don't pass bet. So if a 4 rolls, you lose your don't pass. If a 7 rolls, you win your don't pass. So this bet now is determined on a 4 or a 7. This don't come bet, since it's just like the don't pass, it will only lose on a 7 or an 11. It will win on a 2 or in a 3, and it bars the 12. It pushes on the 12, just like the don't pass. Now, if we roll another number and let's say an 8 comes up, this bet will move to the 8, and now it will be just like the don't pass. Now that bet will be determined on whether the 8 rolls or the 7 rolls. If the 7 rolls, you win. If the 8 rolls, you lose. And you can place as many don't comes as you want. You only place 1 don't pass. Now, you can also put odds on these bets. And odds get paid out a little bit different on a don't pass than they do on a pass. So we might talk about that when we start looking at how we would use a don't pass bet. But let's go ahead and roll and see if we can get another box number and see that and watch this number move to that, watch this bet move to that number. Okay, there's a 9. So now, look what happens. The don't come bet, the $10 that was in the don't come, moves behind the 9. Okay, so now this bet wins on a 7, loses on a 9. This bet wins on a 7, loses on a 4, because it is associated with the point. The don't come bets are associated with the number that it moves to, and we can put another don't come bet in. Okay, so now if a 6 would roll, this 10 would move behind the 6. And this bet would be determined a winner or a loser based on either a 6 or a 7 rolling. Okay? Now, if a 7 rolls, you're going to win all these bets. But if the number rolls, like if the number 8 rolls, you lose this bet, but these other bets are still in play. So let's go ahead and roll, see if we can get this $10 don't come bet to move. It's an 11. It loses. So let's replace it. 7 and 11 loses. Okay, there's a 5. It will now move to the 5. So now here's what we've got. This bet wins on a 7. This bet wins on a 7. This bet wins on a 7. So you now have 3 bets that you are at an advantage. Okay? Your don't pass bet loses on the 4. It's associated to the point. The bet behind the 5 loses if the 5 rolls. It's based on this number. And the bet behind the 9 loses if a 9 rolls. Okay? So now you've got 3 bets where you're at the advantage. You could put another come bet out, or don't come bet out. You can put another $10 out. Let's roll and let's see what happens now when we roll. Okay, the 0.4 was rolled, which means we lost our don't pass. Because remember, this don't pass bet is determined on whether a 4 rolls or a 7 rolls. Well, the 4 rolled, so we lost it. But our don't come bet moved behind the 4. Okay? and the puck goes off because we rolled the point. So you can now put another don't pass bet in, or you can just leave these 3 bets working. Okay. So let's roll. Let's see what happens. We will not put a don't pass up there. Okay, there's an 8. Nothing here's on the 8, but the puck moves to the 8. There's a 6. So what we're looking for is a 7. Okay. There's the 9. This bet here behind the 9 will win on a 7 and it will lose on a 9. We rolled the 9, so it lost. You can't replace it, but what you can do is you can put another bet in the don't come. And if a 9 happened to roll now, it would then get moved to the 9. You can't just put it up behind the 9. Not through the come bet. Not through the don't come bet, I should say. Okay, there's a 9. So this don't come bet moves to the 9. Okay. I hope that makes sense. You don't just replace the bet behind the 9. On don't come bets, they have to get moved to the number through this pass right here, this area right here. You put your bet here. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean you can't lay behind the 9. You can do that. And we talked about lay bets on an earlier video, so we won't go into that. Let's take that off. So the puck is on. We have 3 bets behind these numbers, which will win if a 7 comes. Let's go ahead and roll. And there is the 7. So if we look at that, we won on the 4. We won behind the 5. We won behind the 9. If we would have had a don't pass bet out before the point was established, before it moved to the 8, before the point was on the 8, we would have won that bet also. Okay? So those are the basics, beginner strategies on the don't pass and the don't come. We'll have another video that will show what type of strategies we'll use where we will incorporate a don't pass or a don't come bet. But for now, just understand they are the opposite of the pass line and the come bet. And they work pretty much the same. But again, people who play the don't pass and the don't come are considered dark side players, or you're playing against the table, against the other players, against the shooter. So in that regards, sometimes you're looked down on if you play the don't side. Okay? So that's the video for today. I should have put this out right after we did the pass line, but I neglected to do that. So I wanted to get caught up and get that bet out, that strategy out here now. So that'll be the strategy. Our next video, we'll talk a little bit more about when you would use these don't pass and don't come bets. Okay? Hope everyone's having a good day out there. As always, thanks for watching.